Theseus and the Minotaur. There are two unanswered questions about the Minoans, those creative people who established the great civilization of Crete. Where did they come from, and where did they go? The place of origin in Phoenicia is suggested by the story of Europa and the bull, and some scholars think that this was indeed the case. The griffin and the long woman's dress, both found in Crete, are seen in Phoenician art as well, and the bull was revered throughout the Near East. Witness the bull of heaven, the golden calf, and the cow goddess Hathor. Europa. One day, as she played in a meadow with her brothers, Europa, daughter of the king of Tyre, caught a glimpse of a great white bull grazing in a herd near the seashore. Though her brothers fled at the bull's approach, Europa was so dazzled by his beauty that she lost all fear of him. How friendly he is, she thought. It's almost as if he were human. He was not a mortal, however, but a god. Zeus had become enamored of Europa, and to avoid troubling Hera, he had taken the form of a bull. As the white bull approached her, Europa placed flowers in his mouth, and as she caressed him, the bull lowed gently. He rubbed his nose against the girl's elbow as she garlanded his horns with flowers, and he bowed before her feet so that she might reach him more easily, his broad back looking so inviting that the girl could not resist the urge to climb onto it. Scarcely had she done so when the bull rose to his feet and ran towards the sea. At first this was exciting, as her laughing brothers ran alongside. But when the bull increased its pace, they could no longer keep up with him and were left far behind. Europa, crying out in vain to her brothers for help, held fast to the bull's neck. He plunged into the water, and the jolting gallop was replaced by powerful, smooth strokes as the bull swam serenely through the water. They were bound for the island of Crete, and there, in the mountain cave where Zeus had been born, Europa one day gave birth to a son, Minos. Minos became the Cretan king, and it was during his reign that Crete became a great civilization, called Minoan after the name of its great ruler. Daedalus. The greatest craftsman of Crete was Daedalus. He invented the saw using the jagged spine of a fish as its model, and the potter's wheel, which he had devised, was the forerunner of the most useful of all inventions, the true wheel. Daedalus was even said to have made statues that could walk. But the most famous product of his fertile brain was the Labyrinth. The Labyrinth was a maze, the passageways of which were so intricate that anyone entering it would be unable to find his way out again. There was a reason for such a den. It was built to hide a terrible monster, the Minotaur. The Minotaur had the ugly, hairy body of a man, but his shoulders bore the head of a bull. Its ravenous appetite only human flesh could satisfy. Victims were led into the labyrinth, and as they groped about seeking an outlet, the Minotaur had the pleasure of hunting them down. Icarus. Daedalus, falling into disfavor with the king, was himself shut into the labyrinth, along with his son Icarus. Too ingenious to be trapped for long, he found a passageway out of the maze-like prison, and then made plans to escape from the island of Crete. He set to work to fashion 2 pairs of wings by joining feathers of different lengths and shaping them carefully with his deft fingers. When they were finished, he fastened them with soft beeswax to his son's shoulders and to his own. Then in a stern voice he said, "We shall fly to the north, over the sea, but take care. If you fly too near the sun, the wax on your wings will melt." Like 2 great birds, they rose into the air, soared over Crete, then the sea, and the islands of the Aegean. Icarus became more and more excited. how fast he could go, and how high. Intoxicated with the freedom of motion, he rose higher and higher. Suddenly, Daedalus realized that the boy had not heeded his warnings, and called to him frantically, but Icarus could not hear his voice, for he was only a speck far above his father. Then the speck began to grow bigger. Icarus's wings had fallen off, and now he was plunging downwards. The sun was caught but a momentary glimpse of his son's horror-stricken face as he fell past him towards the sea. A puff of spray.
Before leaving Trojan to return to Athens, Aegus said to his young wife, "If you should bear me a son, let him come to Athens only when he is full grown." "But how shall I know when the right time has come?" she asked. "Look at this," said Aegus, with a mighty heave, raising a huge flat stone. "When he is strong enough to lift it, he will be old enough to come to Athens. Tell him that he is the son of Aegus, and let him wear this sword and these sandals, which I now place beneath the stone. I will recognize them."
What?
The Great Stone. A son was born, and his name was Theseus. He was a slim but muscular youth of 15 when his mother led him for the first time to the rock. Theseus was surprised by his mother's order. Nevertheless, he bent and gripped the rock. He strained upwards until his young limbs quivered, but he could not move it. Panting heavily, he rested, and then, with a fierce burst of strength, he heaved at the rock. An inch it moved, but no more. He fought back tears of shame, and his mother said, "Let it be, son, for another year. By then you will be strong enough." So Theseus waited 1 year, but into every day of that year he packed hours of exercise. He threw the discus. He raced, for his legs must be strong as well as his arms. And more than anything else, he wrestled. By the time he was 16, no man in Trojan could wrestle him for more than a minute without being thrown. The day came, and Theseus again faced the great stone. He bared his shoulders, bronzed by the sun, and rippling with layers of muscle. He selected his position, ground his feet firmly into the earth, and smiled confidently at his mother. Then, his back taut, his fingers tightened on the stone's rim, he fought his granite foe out of the earth in an explosion of energy. There before him, still intact, were the sandals and the gold-hilted sword. Now, Theseus' mother told him that his father was the king of Athens, and the time had come to join him there. The hills of Athens could be seen in the distance, across the waters of the Gulf. "You should cross by ship," she said, "for the trip by land is full of dangers." "No," he replied, "I have been given sandals, and I must walk." And after bidding farewell, he set out along the coastal road.